Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a quick comparison video between 3 watercolor palettes that I use. I just wanted to let you know in advance that all the opinions that I'll be stating is based on my personal experience plus some research. I've only recently gotten back into watercolor, so I might not know the exact terms or if the quality of the stuff that I'm using is actually better than I'm saying it is. So please try to find no offense to it. It's just my personal opinions. I love all 3 brands equally, but when it comes to returning to watercolors, I kind of want something more specific. And yeah, I'll be doing a sped up version of all the paintings while doing a voiceover. And I'll give my final thoughts at the end of the video. So stay tuned. So first I'm going to start with the Sakura Koi watercolor set. I bought this paint on Amazon after watching a few YouTube artists work with the product. I ended up loving the vibrant colors it had and grew curious about the watercolor brush. But when it comes to the watercolor brush, I personally found it better to use as a blending tool. Mainly because I want to be able to control the amount of water on my own. I'm not too sure it's because I don't know how to use it quite just yet, but I would much rather control the amount of water because sometimes it doesn't come out as dark as I want it to be. But that's probably because I'm mainly just learning how to do watercolor again. Once I become more familiar, I'm probably going to use the water brush as a travel thing. So while I was playing around and comparing it alongside other paints that I used, or that I'm using, I noticed how much vibrant the colors are. I also noticed that the brand would be but I also noticed that this brand is a little bit better if you're trying to achieve more transparent looks. It's gonna take a lot of layers before you can actually get something pretty dark, I think. The Sakura Koi is actually a good student grade paint set, and in my opinion it's one of the best for beginners who are just starting out with watercolors. It's really affordable and the quality is nice enough for those who are just looking for something fairly decent to start with. Now for the Reeves watercolor paints. So I purchased this after watching one of my other favorite artists talking about some art supplies that she uses, but instead she kind of introduced this brand as a giveaway prize, and I kind of grew curious about it. This was around the time I was just learning how to mess around with watercolors. Originally I used the Artist Loft that they provide in Michaels, but I decided I wanted to try something a little bit better, so I kind of leaned towards Reeves. But as you can see while I'm painting this, you can kind of notice some of the reasons why I want to turn away from it now. For example, I had a really difficult time making some of Garnet's colors. For example, the light pink part of her top, the colors just wouldn't get as vibrant as I want it to be. But since I'm just recently learning, or since I'm mostly learning, I think it was probably my own fault. But one thing that I did really struggle with was the brand's black paint. No matter how often I dipped into it with as little water as possible, it would always come out as a gray tone. This might have to do with how the pigments and fillers are mixed, because when I first used this product, some fluid came out before the paint itself. I'm assuming that they're not mixed well together or just had a tough time staying together. This kind of resulted in a faded look, more than your typical watercolor faded look, and it also had some splotches after it dried. Out of the 3 student grade quality brands I'm using, this is probably the cheapest in terms of price and quality. But don't get me wrong, it's good for practicing, and if you're able to only afford something like this, it's good for practicing, or if it's the only thing you're able to afford. But if you can spare a couple of dollars, I would actually reach for something like Sakura Koi. Reeves is a good, the Reeves watercolor in my opinion is a good place to start, and I recommend at least getting the set of 24 so you have more colors. And I kind of suggest getting a different black paint. I'm not sure if it's just the one that I bought, but for some reason it does not get any darker than that. Or I would actually just recommend you getting like ink or something for much more darker or completely black areas. So based on my experience while painting this, and my constant frustration with finding the right colors or mixing the right things, I kind of just want to stray away from Reeves for now, unless I was working with like a larger piece. It'd be good for a base, but not something I'd want to just keep going back towards. So lastly, I'm also comparing my Winsor Newton half pan set, or the Winsor Newton Cotman half pan set. It's a mouthful, seriously. So for this one, it's one of the brands that most of my favorite artists turn to, and I know I just got this set, but I'm kind of determined to get more now. Probably I would rather get the tubes over the pan sets, because so far this brand is more richer and vibrant in color, despite it being considered a student grade. And while I was researching, they said that the Cotman series are considered student grade, even though while I was comparing it to the others, it felt like it was a little bit more than just that. They're also more opaque than the ones I'm currently comparing it alongside with. The one thing that's lacking about the half pan set is that it does not have a huge amount of desired colors, but while I was also researching, some people said that the colors that they put together with their pan sets are predetermined, or like kept with like the artists in mind, so that you're able to paint like basic illustrations. Unlike the Sakura Koi, where it has more colors that you can play around with, the half pan set is just like your basics. So if it's possible, I might just buy empty pans and replace them. So like how I stated at the beginning of this video, I said I liked all these brands equally, but I think I want to change the way I said that based on the way I compare them side by side. Normally I don't have any complaints when I paint with it individually, but now that I actually compared them myself, I kind of realize what I'm going to lean towards now. As you can see, the Sakura Koi looks a lot more vibrant, and sorry, not just the Sakura Koi. The Sakura Koi and the Winsor Newton look much more put together and vibrant, and a lot neater after it dries. And compared to the Reeves, they just look a lot nicer. Reeves kind of faded a lot more, and there's a lot of dullness in it, but I'm not sure if it's the way I mix the colors, but all the splotches and the faded afterlook probably has to do with the fact that the paints were not as mixed, or were not mixed as nicely. I want to say that all these brands can be found both in Michaels and Amazon. I chose to link both because with Michaels you can use the coupons to get some of their products at a much cheaper price than on Amazon. And I would like to touch on the disclaimer I said at the beginning. brands and qualities of paint do not make the artist. It all depends on how you use it. And I hope that you don't take anything that I said to heart, because all of this was just based on my own opinion and experiences. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys like this comparison video. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!